The PS4 Pro is nearly 10 years old, but somehow it can still run some of the best looking games ever released on a console. However, most of those games are locked to 60 or even 30 FPS, and many games on the system don't even render at true native 4K, despite Sony once marketing it as a 4K gaming machine. So what is actually going on here? To find that out, I started searching for the actual GPU inside this console, or at least the closest thing you can realistically buy. And in this video, we're going to find out what the PS4 Pro's GPU is truly capable of. Because the PS4 Pro doesn't use a dedicated graphics card like a normal PC. Instead, it uses a custom chip made by AMD, specifically for Sony, combining both the CPU and GPU into one single system, so you can't really buy the GPU separately, even if you wanted to. Thankfully, after a few hours of digging through the internet, I finally found the exact specs of the GPU inside the PS4 Pro. And from there, all we had to do was find the closest matching graphics card on PC. I found a few GPUs that looked pretty similar on paper, but after taking a closer look at the actual specs, one of them stood out more than the others and ended up being the closest match to the PS4 Pro, and that was the ARX 580. Which sounds kind of weird because the ARX 580 is just a normal PC graphics card, while the PS4 Pro is a game console. But in reality, these two are way more alike than you might think. At first, the only real difference seemed to be the name. The PS4 Pro uses a custom GPU codenamed Neo, while the ARX 580 uses Polaris 20. But when I started looking at the actual specs, both of them have exactly 2,304 shader cores, the same 144 TM US, the same 32 ROPs. Even the memory setup is almost identical, 8 GB of GDDR5 on a 256-bit memory bus. And this is where things started getting really interesting, because at this point the PS4 Pro no longer felt like some mysterious custom console GPU anymore. It honestly started to feel like Sony just took an AREX 580, modified it for a console, and shoved the whole thing into a tiny box under your TV. Now that we know what the PS4 Pro's GPU actually is, it's time to buy one and see just how close it really is to the actual console. With the average price of a PS4 Pro currently sitting somewhere around $150 to $200, I figured an RX 580 would probably cost quite a bit less. And thankfully, this time I was right. After a few minutes of scrolling through eBay and trying to avoid sellers with descriptions like tested maybe, or works unless it doesn't, I finally found this ARX 580 armor for around $60, and after shipping, the total came out to a little over $70. Honestly, that still sounded like a pretty good deal, at least in the product photos, because once I actually held it in my hands, I started noticing a few signs of age. It wasn't exactly filthy, but some of the metal parts, like the rear bracket and even parts of the heatsink, were starting to show a bit of rust. Like, you could tell this GPU had survived a few intense ranked gaming sessions in its lifetime, which honestly makes sense. The ARX 580 launched back in 2017, meaning this thing has basically been around long enough to start elementary school by now. But at least the condition was still pretty close to what the seller described. So now it was finally time to find out whether this PS4 Pro GPU could still function properly after nearly 10 years. I'm going to install it into my testing PC with an i5-12600K to make sure we can get the absolute maximum performance out of this GPU. I mean, if this thing really is as powerful as a PS4 Pro, then I want to see everything it can do, not have it bottlenecked by something else. After that, I started installing the drivers like normal. And honestly, this is always the part that makes me a little nervous whenever I mess with old AMD GPUs like this. Thankfully, this time the driver installation went surprisingly smoothly. No display issues, no crashes, no ancient AMD curse suddenly appearing out of nowhere. The system recognized the RX 580 immediately. Honestly, that alone made me feel a little suspicious. But now that the PS4 Pro GPU was finally running on PC, it was time to see what this thing could actually do without all the usual console limitations. Because on a real PS4 Pro, most games are locked to 30 FPS, sometimes 60 if you're lucky. But now on PC, there were no frame caps, no locked graphics settings, just the GPU running completely free. So naturally, it was finally time to start testing some games. For every game in this video, I tested the ARX 580 at 1440p using two different modes. First, raw native performance with no upscaling or frame generation at all, and second, a more console-like setup using technologies like FSR, dynamic resolution scaling, and frame generation to see how far this thing could really be pushed. I decided to start with God of War 2018, probably one of the most iconic PS4 Pro games ever made. In the native test, performance hovered around 35 FPS most of the time. Visually, it still looked fantastic, but once combat started getting faster, things definitely stopped feeling smooth. But after enabling FSR quality mode, performance jumped much closer to 50 FPS, while still looking surprisingly sharp. And honestly, this was the first moment where I started understanding the PS4 Pro a little more. Because this console was never really about brute force. It was all about smart optimization tricks. Ghost of Tsushima somehow felt even crazier. Performance was very similar at first, usually around 35 FPS, although heavier scenes could sometimes dip closer to 28. But once I enabled FSR 3, dynamic resolution scaling, and frame generation, everything completely changed. Suddenly the frame rate jumped all the way into the 70 to 80 range, sometimes even higher. And weirdly enough, this actually started feeling much closer to the real philosophy behind the PS4 Pro itself. The more I relied on upscaling and frame generation, the more this entire experience started feeling like modern console gaming instead of traditional PC gaming, and somehow all of this becomes even more impressive once you remember that the PS4 Pro only had 8 GB of shared GDDR5 memory for the entire system. Both the CPU and GPU had to fight over that same pool of memory at the exact same time, which honestly makes what happened next feel even more ridiculous. Fortnite was where this thing completely broke free from its console roots. In the first test using DirectX 12 and medium settings, performance stayed around 50 to 60 FPS, with surprisingly solid image quality. But once I switched over to performance mode, the frame rate immediately jumped all the way into the 180 to 200 FPS range. And honestly, this is where the difference between console gaming and PC gaming becomes painfully obvious. On PS4 Pro, you don't really get graphics settings, you just launch the game and hope Sony made the right decisions for you. Then I moved on to The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. At native settings, performance landed somewhere around 26 to 30 FPS. Playable, but definitely not smooth enough for a game this cinematic. But after enabling FSR 3.1.3, frame generation, and dynamic resolution scaling, performance suddenly jumped above 60 FPS, sometimes even pushing past 70. Sure, some smaller details looked a little softer now, but honestly, I stopped caring the second the game started feeling this smooth. But eventually, reality finally caught up in Cyberpunk 2077. At native settings, performance stayed around 35 to 40 FPS. Turning on FSR 3 and frame generation helped push things closer to 50 FPS, which definitely felt better. But this was the first moment where the age of the hardware really started becoming obvious. But after all of this, I honestly think the PS4 Pro GPU ended up being way more impressive than I remembered. For barely over $60, this thing can still handle modern AAA, competitive shooters, and somehow even survive at 1440p, nearly 10 years later. And honestly, this card probably didn't even have an easy life. There's a good chance it spent years running at full load inside some crypto mining rig, before eventually ending up on eBay covered in rust. Sure, modern games like Cyberpunk are definitely starting to expose its age, but after testing all of this, I finally understand why the PS4 Pro lasted so long. It was never really about raw power. Sony just got unbelievably good at squeezing impossible-looking results out of relatively old hardware.